What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a banger of a video, a true hoot and a holler. We're coming in with a story that I've been sitting on for a while. About the time that my boy Sam crashed his whip in a parking lot, I had to come bail him out, and then he took me to probably the worst cart plug I've ever met in my life. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm excited to share this one, honestly. I don't think I have anything further to say because I want to get this one out there, guys. Listen, this is one that I've been sitting on for a while, and honestly, I feel like the coast is clear because it's been long enough, but also the statute of limitations isn't up, but there's just no way to prove this anymore. So you know what? We're going to go ahead and tell it now. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Let's dive right into it. And just a friendly reminder before this story, all of these are for entertainment purposes only. All right, so I really had to stress that before this one. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, this happened back in 2021 when I was up north back in my hometown, which was a pretty frequent occurrence. I'd say it was almost every other month, somewhere around that range, that I would drive about 2.5 to 3 hours north, closer to Chicago, to go back home and visit all my friends. It was a tradition I had because in the town that I'd moved to further south, I just didn't really know anybody. I had a few people around, but it just wasn't the same. I like to go home and kick it with all my old school friends, you know? So on this particular trip, I had driven up a couple days prior, and I had already been up in my hometown for a few days, and I was staying in a hotel, not at my mother's house, which was totally a manners thing. You know, I didn't really want to bother her with my delinquency. You know, I had enough money to get a hotel at this point, so that's exactly what I did. But either way, you know, I'm chilling out in my hotel room on this day, and I wasn't expecting to have any plans with Sam. You know, my plans for the day were actually to go over to Kyle's house, smoke a little bit, just kind of hang out, maybe go grab some dinner later. We were going to go to this hibachi restaurant. Normal day planned out from what I can remember. Now, I also remember that I had a bag with me on this trip. I brought, I don't remember exactly how much, but a decent-sized little baggie of blow up with me. And this was my sketchy bag of blow, my stuff that I didn't know if I was going to OD and die on, because my plug that I trusted very much had gone to jail about 1.5 years prior for a terrible crime that he wouldn't be getting out for anytime soon. So I was really getting adventurous with my blow. I was hopping on the deep web, ordering from random vendors, testing it with my nostrils. Listen, I am very fortunate to be able to sit here and tell you this story with the way I was moving at this time in my life. But you know, I'm sitting here in my hotel room, and I remember I was literally just hanging out. I was watching the morning news and doing some blow. I'm a bit of an NPC when I wake up. I like to watch the news. I'm watching the news, I'm doing some blow, and I remember Sam calls me, and it was before noon for sure. It was early in the day, especially by my standards at this point in my life. And I remember Sam called me, which was unusual because normally Sam was just going to hit me on Snapchat. Sam was not the kind of person who was going to call me. He's either going to hit me on Snapchat or text me. But Snap was like his #1 method of communication. This guy, I think to this day, he uses that app. The only reason I don't talk to him on there is because they banned me a few years ago for being who I am. They don't like me on there. But Sam calls me, and I pick up, and I'm like, yo, what's up, dude? What's going on? And Sam immediately just starts splurging words, just spitting them out, like almost like a hurricane, like a waterfall that just got unleashed or a dam broke or something. The words are flowing. I can tell he's panicked. I'm like, Sam, chill out. What the fuck are you trying to say to me? He's like, dude, I really need your help. Like, is there any way you could just come pick me up real quick? Like, I really need your help. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Like, where are you at? Sends me his address. It's about 20 minutes away from the hotel I'm staying in. He's like, yeah, bro, like, just come pick me up. And I find it a little weird because he sends me his location, and he's in like a strip mall parking lot. He's just at a strip mall. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, why the fuck? Why would you need a ride? But for some reason, I didn't ask. I had no idea what I was driving to pick him up from. I was just like, okay, he called me frantically. He needs a ride. All right, I'll go give him a ride. So I remember I hung up the phone, I went and I jumped in my car, and at this point, I was still driving my old blue Mercedes that was not registered to me, not insured, and my license was still suspended at this point. Although, I do believe that this was during the period where I was actually eligible for license reinstatement, but didn't know it. There was a little, 3-month window where I could have gone and gotten my license, but no one ever told me, so I just didn't do it, you know? But I think this fell into that window. I'm not exactly certain, though. But either way, I'm driving around unlicensed in a car that's not registered to me with no insurance, and I had not a care in the world. But I also had to be more careful because I was up north. I was closer to the city. I was back in my hometown. Way more cops to worry about up here that will actually run your plate. So I jump in my car and I whip about 20 minutes over to the address that Sam had sent me. And I pull up and I see this strip mall, and it's a fairly small one. It had like a Sally's Beauty Supply, and if I recall correctly, it was like a Potbelly or some shit on the corner. It was just a small, typical strip mall, nothing really special. And I pull into this parking lot, very full. It's the middle of the day, guys, a very full parking lot. So I'm a little confused, and I remember I called Sam and I pulled in. I'm like, Sam, like, I'm here in the parking lot. Where are you? He's like, oh, dude, I'm standing by my car. Like, I'm in the back of the lot. I'm like, okay, I'll go to the back. So I kind of go to the backside, far away from where all the stores are. And there I see very clearly, just in the most open part of the lot, Sam. And Sam is just standing by his car. And at first, he's just standing there with his girl. I didn't think anything of it. But now I'm more confused because I'm like, wait, he has his car. Why the fuck are you calling me to ask for a ride? So then as I'm pulling up, I'm still thinking like, oh, maybe his battery died. You know, he went to the store, his battery died. A little weird that he parked back here, but whatever. I pull up and I get close to his car. I pull up right next to it. I hop on out. I'm like, yo, what's up? I dap him up. Sam says nothing to me. Sam says absolutely fucking nothing. He literally is just like, what's up? And gets in my car. Daps me up, greets me, jumps in the whip, says nothing. Even his girl is a little taken aback by this, who, for the sake of the story, we're going to refer to her as Daisy for the rest of the time. I don't know if I've ever assigned her a name outside of Ashley, but I feel like this chick deserves a name at this point. So we're gonna call her Daisy. So Sam's girl, Daisy, is even also taken a little aback by the fact that he just jumps in my whip. So she starts explaining to me the situation. She's like, yeah, we were driving and we like hit a pothole or something and messed up our tires, so we had to pull into this lot. And I realize she's talking about the other side of the car. So I walk around to the opposite side of the car from where I was standing, and his front right side is fucking decimated. Listen, I have a theory that's never been confirmed to me because they stuck with the pothole story for some reason. I don't know why they had to tell that to me. This was clearly not pothole damage. They like sideswiped something major. My theory is they probably just went up on a pretty high curb as they were driving in the right lane and just absolutely destroyed the front right corner of the car. The reason I believe that is because Sam has literally done this while I was in the car before, but just kept driving. So he has a track record. We have some evidence here. So that was my theory in my head, but I'm like, whatever. I don't really care, dude. Once again, I'm not the traffic police. I don't give a fuck. So I'm just like, all right, well, jump in my car. Like, what are you guys going to do with the whip? Sam's like, oh, I don't know. Like, we'll probably come back and get it later because they did not have money to get it towed. I was like, oh, like, you can get it towed somewhere. They're like, oh, yeah, but we just can't really afford it right now. Like, can't really afford to get it fixed. Sam and his girl never really had very much money. So I was like, okay, fuck it. The car's in the parking lot. You're not getting a DUI at least. That's good. You know, that's great news. Let's at least get you out of here. Now, I felt pretty bad for Sam in this situation because his car was old and it was beat up, and it was kind of the scenario where, depending on how bad this damage was once they got the car lifted up, this thing might be totaled by the looks of it. I mean, he had this old, I think it was a Mercury, if I remember correctly. So parts weren't going to be super common. On top of that, this thing had like 1 trillion miles on it. I mean, Sam had a real shit box. It was comfy though, but it was a shit box. So I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, dude, Sam might have just totaled his whip in this parking lot here. I can't believe it. Sam, on the other hand, is not thinking about that at all. I'm actually more concerned about his car than he is, because Sam turns to me and goes, he's like, yo, I got to grab some carts, actually. I was going to head over there after this. You want to go with me? He didn't ask me to take him there. He was pitching it in a way of like, yo, dude, you could throw in with me. You could get some carts. Now, I've never been a big cart guy, so I was like, I'm probably good on throwing in, but I'll take you. You know, I will drive you there if you need. He's like, bet, dude, fucking let's go. I'll tell you where to go right now. So he gives me the address. I didn't ask who we were going to. You know, I just drove it. And we're driving, chatting a little more about like what exactly happened with the car. And he's telling me the full story about how he allegedly just went through a pothole in the right lane and had no idea. But I could also tell that Sam was fucked up on something. I don't know exactly what he was fucked up on. I was getting a Xanax kind of vibe. The thing with Sam is I'm very good friends with him. I know him very well. Sam's a tough guy to figure out because he's always high on something. He also takes a lot of like antipsychotic medications that fuck up his mood. He's on a new medication like every other month. Sam is just a whirlwind, dude. So I could tell he was fucked up, but I couldn't really tell if it was drugs or a new psychotic med because that was kind of how Sam was. So either way, we're driving over to what's supposed to be his cart plug's house, who he's told me nothing about. And we're riding over there. It was actually pretty close to where we were. It seemed like he was kind of like on the way over there already and made a stop, because we were less than 10 minutes away. So we take a quick little pilgrimage over to the cart plug's house, and I park right out front, and Sam tells me to jump out and come inside. Daisy jumps out too. We're all walking up to the front door, and I'm like, okay, I mean, I could have waited here, like no biggie, but whatever, we'll just go inside. So Sam rings the doorbell, knocks on the door. Door pops open, and there's an individual who, listen, I think I've referred to this guy in a couple of my old stories, but there's a reason I haven't talked about him in years, because this guy is just a horrible person, okay? First off, this guy was supposed to be one of Sam's good friends. He's fucking his ex-girl. Okay, so I didn't like him on Sam's behalf because Sam's so wild in the head, he didn't even get offended by that. I got offended on Sam's behalf. I was like, Sam, listen, dude, he's fucking your ex. He didn't even ask you. You should not be friends with him. And Sam doesn't compute that he shouldn't be friends with him for that. So I was like, okay, I encourage you to stay away from this guy. This dude was no good. He would always take advantage of Sam. He'd always finesse him, make him throw money for stuff he shouldn't throw money for. This guy was he sucked, honestly. There was a time a few years prior where it had gotten really, really close to me and this guy fighting one time at Sam's apartment. I could not fucking stand the way that this guy acted around Sam. He was just not good. No good at all. So as soon as he opens the door and I see it's him, I'm like, oh my fucking God, dude. I can't believe it. But also, I'm at someone else's house. This is what Sam wants to be doing, and it's been like 4 fucking years since I've seen this dude. So I was like, all right, well, I'm not about to like crash out or make a scene on this guy's porch, whatever. It was very awkward walking in, though, because Sam walked in, Daisy followed, and I was last. And I don't think he even noticed me at first. I was standing in the back of the group, and I walked in, and we kind of like side-eyed each other and like let out a little, just a nod, like not even what's up, like a nod to each other when I walked in the door. Very unusual walking into a house I've never been to and just not greeting the owner. Well, not the owner, but the resident. That kid, listen, dude, that kid worked at Burger King. He didn't own shit. So we walk in and we sit in his living room, and guy's got a nice house, dude. I mean, this kid, clearly his parents are doing pretty good for themselves. He had a nice living room. It was trash, though. Like, it was a mess. One of those houses where, like, it's not like food garbage or anything. There's just, like, clothes and plastic everywhere. Just shit. One of those things that pissed me off. It was like, damn, you got all this space, and you're just fucking it up. I was looking around like, wow, dude, if I was your parents, I'm getting a domestic abuse case, dude. I'm beating your little stupid ass, But I digress. I didn't want to say any of that. So I'm just sitting there. I'm sitting beside Sam on the couch. He's chatting with this dude who, what are we going to refer to the cart plug as, man? I don't want to give him a too good of a name here. Let's call him Chandler. I kind of don't fuck with that name. So we're going to go with Chandler. So Chandler, the cart man here, is talking to Sam, and he's like, yeah, bro, like, I got all these fucking new cars, really gassing up these carts. And I was really, really paying close attention at this point because this guy would do this to Sam all the time. He would always sell him the worst weed on earth, bro. And Sam wouldn't know any better. Sam is the kind of guy, listen, if there's a 1% THC content in a pile of dog shit, Sam is smoking it. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. So I was kind of paying attention here because I was like, dude, is he about to finesse my boy again? Chandler busts out the cart. It's been pretty... Listen, there's no packaging. I'll give him credit here. They didn't waste any time on the packaging with these carts. I'm almost convinced he made these in the garage an hour before we got there. He pulls out the little white-tipped, like, ceramic carts, bro, just in a plastic bag. He has a bag of, like, fucking probably 30 of them in each bag, and these bags have just these little labels on them, like these little sticker labels that say like what strain the cart is. There's one like, I don't remember the exact strains, but we'll just throw out an example. There's one that said like ice cream cake, one that said like gelato, you know, like all that stupid shit. And the fucking, oh my god, the oil in these was so golden, it was almost glowing, dude. It looked like Midas's fucking touch had reached this cart, dude. It was absolutely repulsive. Listen, oil color can mean a lot of different things, right? You can have darker oil from oxidization, and that doesn't mean the oil's bad. But when you have neon glowing oil, that almost always means you have a problem. And that's what I was looking at here. So I was like, oh my god, dude, this looks bad. This looks rough. But at the same time, once again, like Sam had been buying these for a while. I didn't want to be a dick and butt in and be like, hey, don't buy these, you know? Like, if anything, I'll talk to him about it after. So I just kind of sat, minded my business. Very awkward, because I wasn't sure if Chandler even remembered the beef between him and I, or the issues we had the last time him and I had seen each other, because Chandler also takes so many Xans that it's pretty plausible that he doesn't remember. Now, this is already a pretty bad situation, but things got even worse, you see, because Sam's girl got up, right? And she gets off the couch and gets on the phone, and she walks out of the room. I don't know where she went. I wasn't about to go explore Chandler's house, but she starts crashing out on a phone call for whatever reason. From what I remember, she had a family member close to her die around this time, and she was having a lot of family issues. I remember I'd gone over to Sam's house a couple times, and she was just like off the rail, fucked up, tweaking, total like manic episode almost. But either way, she leaves the room and takes a phone call, and she's like screaming on the phone. I'm the only one who has a reaction. Sam and Chandler are still just talking about the carts. Sam's like, can I try this one? Chandler's like, yeah, dude, you could try this one. I'm sitting there. I ask him, like, yo, like, is Daisy okay? Sam's like, yeah, she's just on the phone. So I'm like, okay, this must be a common occurrence at this point. Like, she's screaming on the phone. Sam is you know, browsing through the fake cart catalog. This, my God, get me out of this scenario. This is not what I signed up for this day. And mind you, I'm now also coming down off the blow, because what was supposed to be just a quick little pickup has now devolved into Sam's buying the worst carts I've ever witnessed. Sam's girlfriend is having a breakdown on the phone, and I'm in the worst guy in the neighborhood's house right now. Get me out, you know? And now I'm sobering up, and the last thing I'm doing is pulling out my bag in front of these fiends and defending it with my life. No, because Sam is a person I'm willing to share it with, but I also understand that Sam will never repay me for it. Not because he doesn't want to, because Sam will never have the money. I've just come to accept that. But Chandler, the problem is when Chandler's around, Sam will gaslight me and try to get me to share it with Chandler even though I hate him. And if I don't do that, it's going to make a very awkward scenario in Chandler's living room. So the bag stays with me. So I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for these guys to finish up the goddamn cart deal. They're taking so long, bro. This guy's buying like 2 carts and he's acting like he's Chapo, dude. He's going through all the bricks. Are they all stamped correctly? I don't know, dude. Take the 2 and leave. So Sam finally identifies which 2 carts he's going to buy, and I think he paid like $40 for these 2 carts, which was kind of fucked considering these were some of the worst carts I'd ever seen just by luck. But I hadn't hit them yet, so whatever. At this point, we're all just sitting there awkwardly waiting for Daisy to finish screaming on the phone because none of us want to go in there and interrupt her to get her to leave. So we're just kind of sitting in the living room, and it's very weird because Sam is on his phone not saying anything. Chandler is sitting beside me to my left on a different couch. Like, I'm next to Sam on the same couch. Chandler's on a different one, right? Chandler's beside me, but like we don't really want to talk to each other, but there's no discussion going on in the room whatsoever. So me and Chandler are just kind of like, oh, you know, Chandler, I remember he said something to me along the lines of like, oh, like, what you been up to? You know, we're just kind of doing that little like, yeah, we hate each other, but we have to talk right now just to get this over with kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, like, hanging out, you know, fucking, what about you? He's like, oh, working, you know, just the worst conversation ever. Finally, maybe like 5 minutes of just pure tension go by. Like you can feel it in your veins. They're tightening up. And finally, Sam gets up and just goes and gets Daisy himself. She comes out of whatever section of the house she was in. The screaming's now louder because she's not done. And we just leave. We walk back into my car. She's literally like tears flowing down her face, screaming on the phone. I am not listening. I'm zoning it out. She's screaming so loud and aggressively, and some of it even sounds like it's like a mix of English and a different language. I don't know what the fuck she was yelling about. I'm like, fuck it, dude. I get back in my car. Sam gets in my car. Daisy gets in my car. We're out the fucking jam, okay? I realize, once we leave, like, wait, where the fuck are we going? So I asked Sam, and he's like, oh, let's just go back to my crib. He threads up this new cart he got on his battery. He was hitting a cart that was straight metal fumes before we got this one. So he gets rid of the old one, screws on the new one, and absolutely slams it like an immediate blinker, and then passes it to me. Now, he takes his blinker, and I grab it, and at this point in my life, I was smoking better weed than this. Like even in 2021, I was better than this. But you know what? I had just had a stressful situation. I was coming down off the blow. I wasn't really feeling great. I was like, fuck it. I'm slamming a blinker too. So I ripped this shit, and I remember I hit it very hard, literally until it blinked. And I exhale the hit, and immediately just that hot, tingling feeling covers my throat. When you take a distillate blinker, you guys know that just pure burning. It's like you just swallowed lava when you just take a blinker off a terrible cart. Immediately, I'm coughing a lung up, and I'm driving, mind you. I'm coughing so hard that I literally had to pull off onto the side. Luckily, there was a little, right turn into a parking lot I could turn into, but I literally pulled over for a second because I was coughing so fucking hard. I was seeing stars and shit. All the little, purple tracers were going across my vision. It was like acid was starting to hit me or something. I was like, dude, fuck, that's disgusting. Get that shit away from me. I pull over. I rip that shit. I'm like, Sam, respectfully, I don't know why you buy these carts, dude. I tell him this for the millionth time, knowing it's a lost cause. Sam listens and agrees to everything. He's like, yeah, I shouldn't buy these carts. I just, they're just so cheap. And I'm trying to tell him, dude, quality over quantity. Even if you want something cheap, you can probably find something better than this. These are literally garage disty vape juice carts. And he's just like, yeah, but they're cheap, dude. I'm like, dude, you're getting taxed. These were half-gram carts, by the way. He paid 20 a pop for them, and they were disty. You just got fucked. And he's like, no, but he's my homie. Listen, my hatred for Chandler was almost eternal, never-ending, okay? Just forever, everlasting. I don't know what word I'm looking for with an E. I'm trying all of them, and none of them are fitting. But I just hated the fucking guy, dude. I hated him for the way he treated Sam. But, Sam literally grew up with Chandler. He knew Chandler since he was literally in, first grade. So there was no separating this duo. And they still, to this very day, talk. I listen, hey, little newsflash, I always boot his ass from the PlayStation party, whenever Sam invites him when I'm the leader. That motherfucker ain't in my shit. That boy knows the shape of Italy by heart by now. I'll tell you that much. But either way, so we're in this parking lot. Finally, I kind of come back to, I'm like, Sam, for fuck's sake, that's one of the most disgusting carts I've ever hit. It also had this very strange, artificial cakey dessert flavor to it. Have you guys ever tried a dessert flavored vape juice? You guys remember when the box mods were popular back in the day and the disposable vapes with all the desserty flavors? I quit vaping last year, thank God. This tasted almost identical to what a cake flavor would taste like in vape juice. So I could just tell something was not right. This was not a natural weed flavor I was experiencing. I passed that shit back to Sam. I was like, Sam, respectfully, I'm never touching that again. So we cruised on over back to Sam's crib, and he had a nice little townhouse-style apartment. I wouldn't call it a full-on townhouse, but I wouldn't really call it an apartment either. He had a domicile. He had a place to live. So we go over to Sam's place to live. We get there. Daisy had hung up the phone call at some point in our drive, but I had gotten so zoned into, tuning out background noise, I didn't even notice until we got all the way to Sam's crib that she wasn't on the phone anymore. I had just totally tuned it out. I've gotten good at that over the years. So we get back to Sam's crib and we go inside and I'm like, finally I can do some fucking blow. I was fiending. Situations that irritated me made me fiend even harder. Blow was my coping mechanism for any uncomfortable situation. So I was itching to get that bag out, dude. Holy fuck. And I remember the moment I sat down in Sam's living room, I just started chopping up and slamming it. And I'm sharing some with Sam, too, because Sam really wanted to do some. He's like, as soon as he saw me chop it up, he's like, can I have a line? I'm like, yeah, Sam, you can have a line. And you know what? I maybe shouldn't have given him a line, you know, but at the end of the day, we're adults. And if Sam wants a line, I'm going to give him a goddamn line. I probably shouldn't have given him one, though, because he's on medication that he probably shouldn't be doing that with. But I mean, listen, let's be upfront here. Me knowing Sam, that the moment I walk out the door, that guy's taking 6 more drugs on top of his medication anyways. So it might as well enjoy the moment with him. So we're doing some blow, and he's slamming this cart. It felt like after he got the line in, he really started slamming it. And I remember he ripped it so hard, he burnt the coil day one. Like 10 hits in, this guy ripped it so hard that black goop started leaking out of the coil back into the cart. Which, by the way, educational moment, that's just a burnt coil. That's not like cancer fluid, although it is horrifying looking. It's actually very common. If you rip your cart too much, black stuff will leak back out because that's the cotton burning in the coil. That only really happens with cotton coil carts, though. Why do I know this? Because of OnlyGas. So we got customer complaints, and I got really scared thinking I was giving customers AIDS, and then it turns out they just burnt their cart from taking too many blinkers. But either way, so Sam rips this cart so hard, he literally burnt it on day one. Like, I watched the oil get mixed in with this dark burnt goop reclaim, and it got disgusting. It turned into this, like, neon brownish streak that was just running through the rest of the neon yellow because it didn't mix together yet. It was like... Oh, it was very strange. The cart looked like a zebra, almost. You had the neon yellow and then these darker stripes through it. Oh, just a weird-looking fucking cart. But either way, you know, he's ripping this shit. Still going. Still going. And I told him, like, oh, you should slow down on hitting that, bro. That doesn't look right. He didn't give a fuck. He was slamming the blinkers off that shit. Daisy was upstairs in her room, like, not really trying to fuck with us. So me and Sam were just going crazy downstairs. And I remember he pulled out the Monopoly board, dude. This was a classic. Me and Sam used to do so much blow and just sit there and play Monopoly. It would be me, Sam, and Kyle, and then just whoever else we could scrape together. And we would stay up till like 5 a.m., literally till the sun came up, geeked up playing Monopoly, and it was a blast. So he busts out his Monopoly board. I'm like, dude, there's only 2 of us, but I'm pretty down. So we spent the rest of the afternoon on 1v1 Monopoly and doing blow, and it was literally, I don't think we even finished the game, because we were just geeked and fucking around. The other thing with Sam is, like, he has no concept of economics. Like, he'll trade you Boardwalk for like $20. You know, like, Sam doesn't give a fuck. He'll trade you things because he likes you and wants you to win, and he doesn't care about the money. There was one game I remember we were playing, and there was like 5 of us, and Sam got Park Place, which is like the second best space on the Monopoly board, and he traded it to me. He taps me on the shoulder. He's like, yo, can I have $100? And he gives me Park Place for it. Like, he just slid it over to me. That's how Sam plays Monopoly. So, like, when we're 1v1ing, you can't play him seriously because he doesn't really want to win. He wants you to win. I guess Sam's an empath. I don't know. But either way, that was the rest of our afternoon. This video's getting long, so we'll cut it here. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Drop a like if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to go tune in to the Gobcast, ladies and gentlemen, going up every Wednesday on its own channel. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Deuces.